Welcome to another edition of the Webcomic Beacon Presents First Issue.
I'm John.
I'm Paul.
And I'm Steve. And this is First Issue at firstissue.webcomicbeacon.com, part of the Webcast Beacon Network. And it's probably way too late for anybody here to have noticed, but we did celebrate the 5th anniversary of the Webcomic Beacon podcast itself in December of 2012. So that's exciting times that have passed. But this is going to be the Toxic Avenger #1 from Marvel Comics.
It is. Okay.
So, this was actually something that we were, we were trying to come up with like a theme month last year.
Yeah.
And one of them was doing like old, movie comics or something like that.
Yeah, that's what this is.
So we
went to do my collection, because I collect that sort of stuff.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Because I love quarter bins, and that's where you can find this stuff.
Yep. It was $1.50 when it came out. God damn.
So before
And I got it for a quarter.
Before I got to read this, I was forced to watch the Toxic Avenger movie.
It's probably for the best.
But tell us about, what, Troma Studios?
Troma. Troma Studios is a independent movie studio that specializes in...
I'd say exploitation is a pretty good
Well,
word.
it's low budget, independently made exploitation movies.
Yeah.
And Lloyd Kaufman is kind of the patriarch of this whole thing. And for the most part, Troma films are heavy on the blood, gore, lesbian sex.
Outright violence.
Shit, jokes.
Yeah, it'll just whatever.
Basically, just overall not being a decent human being.
Well,
If the Toxic Avenger was any indication.
It's a pretty good indication, actually. But
Toxic Avenger was the first big Troma hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of just became this weird cult favorite that came out of nowhere, made on a budget of about $4. And, But, without Troma, we wouldn't have South Park, because...
That's true. Cannibal the Musical.
Cannibal the Musical came out of Troma.
Yep. They're very good. They do crazy shit, and they're very unapologetic, and it's like you can't really get mad at them even if you hate their movies, because they don't make any bones about it. They don't pretend it's high art.
Well, yeah, and they've got a very specific market that they're going for, and honestly, they do buy independently made properties and give them a place where no other studio would pick them up.
Exactly.
I have friends who made a movie called Go to Hell here locally in Minneapolis, and that was picked up by Troma.
Nice. Yeah, and I mean, God bless them for finding their niche and going with it, man. That's what you got to do. And you don't have to be the #1, Academy Award-winning things, as long as you find your audience. And that's one of the lessons from Troma.
So, what we got after...
I was like, what the hell happened to the Hulk? Oh my god. Oh wait, Toxic Avenger.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So, one thing that's different, noticeably, from the movie to this, is that he's green instead of
sort of
burnt.
Yeah. Charred.
And charred.
Well,
and I'm sure there's a good reason for it.
And I think it's just coloring, the ease of coloring, because if you just color him all gray in the comic, it's not going to pop out in most...
Yeah.
He's kind of greenish. Well, not his
really.
skin, but...
Yeah. His clothing was more... Yeah, this is a...
That's from the
film.
Cartoon.
No, that's the film version.
This is the film.
The
cartoon had the mop was sentient.
Was sentient, yeah, and it was basically his dog, and also he was green, very directly green in the cartoon, and the toys that went well on with it.
Yeah.
So
and plus green means radiation, right?
Yeah, the Hulk knows that. Come on,
yeah,
dude.
And this is Marvel doing this adaptation, so
they can rip themselves off.
Hell yeah!
So the Toxic Avenger,
ding.
The first superhero from New Jersey. A hideously deformed creature of superhuman size and strength is born!
Yep. Also, 50 years of Captain America.
Yes.
And it looks like he died. It's like 1941 to 1991. Rest in peace, Cap. Like, then you look in the back and he's...
Now, this is here instead of a barcode. What does that mean?
Nothing.
Was this like from a subscription?
It must have been.
Yeah. Because yeah, all of my subscription comics used to have that kind of thing. They either had 50 years of Captain America, this is from that era,
or Spider-Man,
or like 30 years of X-Men, that kind of thing.
Okay, so what do you guys think about the cover?
Well, he's big. He's there. It's Toxic Avenger.
It's coming at you.
Yeah, I mean, it gives you what it says it does. And
he's holding him up.
Yeah, if you're interested in this design or you're familiar with the movie, you'll pick it up because, damn, they don't pretend it's anyone else.
Yeah. Well, maybe the Hulk, but
Double Dragon
really
3. Fuck that game. That game gives you one life to start out with, and the AI is ridiculous. The only way you get more lives is by beating bosses and making them join you, because I always help the guy who beat me to death. And it's just no. Also, that's a game where they misspelled Billy Lee's name. They call him Bimmy. It's like Bimmy and Jimmy have opened a karate studio that gets beat. Fuck that game.
So
anyways,
you're gonna make me go back and scan this.
Yes. Toxic Avenger.
Toxic Avenger. The dump in darkness. Why am I here? Why do I feel I belong here? Who am I? Mop, sexy girls in bikinis, nutcracker, sweet tutu, kaleidoscope of laughing teeth, pounding heart, beating feet, breaking glass, liquid green fire, lightning!
Yeah.
That is one.
It's very
monologue.
Very melodramatic.
It goes weirdly noir for the first page.
Yeah.
And it winds up with the phrase Nutcracker Bikinis, which is my new surf band name, I think.
Yes.
So, if anyone's seen the movie, this is not how this part has happened. So
no.
It's different. So he's found himself at the dump. He's stumbling about, looks into a reflection of a car door. Is that me?
Yeah.
I am a monster.
Frank Miller was very popular at the time.
And
he wasn't yet revealed as a psychopath.
So there's some punks here, and they look middle-aged, actually.
They look middle-aged and this is the 90s. Everyone looked middle-aged.
They are covered in lines. There are so many lines. They have lines disease.
And one of the dudes is in drag, which did happen in the movie, but the dude was black. And someone didn't get the memo, or they didn't see the movie.
He's so not black.
So we got these guys who are like, hey, what the hell is that? Let's go.
It's like the mating cry of a bull moose on steroids.
Which means that they have to go investigate it, clearly.
Of course.
Absolutely. So, Toxic Avenger is like angry at his image, smashes the window. It can't be me! I'm not a monster! What's happening? Vibrating, quaking, like I'm about to explode! And he starts body farting.
No, he's just powering up, man. It's Dragon Ball Z.
I love that the sound... Yeah, burf.
Yeah. Maybe someone saw Dragon Ball Z and decided to make a small parody of their body farting to him. Because it's to me like that pose... If it wasn't for the fact that Dragon Ball Z wouldn't even get introduced to America for another 3 or 4 years, I would totally assume that this was a parody of that, just because of the
we're so many minutes into this. And,
who gives a fucking shit?
So so he starts. He is so much of a monologue here.
Yeah, he is.
So this is all set in Tromaville.
Oh yeah,
and everything's trauma. He's full of traumatons.
Yes. Well, hey, why not?
And he's in Tromaville, and there's so much trauma.
It's his toxic sense. It's tingling.
Yeah.
Or exploding.
Anyway.
Because he senses danger nearby.
He does.
It's the toxic sense.
And they start shooting at him because it's Tromaville and everyone's evil.
Yeah.
Except for him.
Yeah.
And his love interest, who you'll meet later.
So, they fight.
They fight because
that's what they do.
They do
and there's
that.
Fighting.
Also, it's Marvel. If there's no fights, it'd be very weird.
And it's not... I do want to remind people that this has been approved by the Comics Code Authority.
That didn't mean anything at this point.
But we get basically Toxic Avenger outright murdering this in an explosion, dumping this guy in acid.
Hell yeah.
It comes out as a skeleton.
Dude, Mortal Kombat.
His eyes are still intact, though, for some reason.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy.
It is Mortal Kombat logic. As long as it looks cool, do it.
One guy gets away.
He steals a cab.
No, he steals a car, but the Toxic Avenger calls a taxi.
He summons it more than anything else. It's like in Marvel vs. Capcom when you just summon a teammate. He's like, taxi! jumps in.
And scares away the cabbie, so he steals the car.
Actually, I don't know, this might be like from like one of the Captain America or Avengers cartoon shows, something really silly. There's like on Tumblr, there's going to be animated GIFs all over.
Oh, yeah.
And one of them was basically Spider-Man with Captain America's shield going, Avengers, assemble! And then they all just go, vroom.
Yep.
And then he goes, Avengers, disassemble! Bloop.
Yeah.
Avengers, assemble! Again! And then the last one is like, he pulls down the shield. I love you, Captain America shield.
That's awesome.
So, anyway.
That's pretty much what he does. He just, like, summons a taxi into being, scares the cabbie.
Yeah, goes on to a chase, taking the taxi.
Because he doesn't really drive.
And once again, I want to point out the sometimes bizarre sound effects. We've got vamp.
Vamp.
So a car going into the air, the sound is vamp.
Yep, but I love he's like, I wonder, because he has amnesia at this point a little bit. He's like, I wonder if I ever learned how to drive. Ah! Vamp. Evidently not.
Actually, the sound for this would be vroom, 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 vroom.
Yeah, but it still says vamp. I'm going to go with it.
Vamp.
So,
Dragon Strike, holy shit. Okay, continue.
Stop looking at the ads.
The ads are more interesting.
I had that.
So he crashes, and then everybody sees him and is like, "Oh no, it's a monster!"
Which they would. Seriously.
All I remember are bikinis and lightning bolts.
And a kaleidoscope of laughing teeth, which actually is an awesome image.
Yeah.
So we cut...
Best kid's toy ever.
See, he runs off, and we cut to...
The Pleasant Haven, Tromaville Home for the Blind.
Yeah.
And I kind of love this. I love the blind people activities. We have ping pong, and a guy drawing and reading. Yeah. The accordion.
We get an artist painting eyes.
Like, what?
And this... What's this punk rock chick doing here?
An inexplicable bikini punk rock chick.
Who's evil.
Who had nothing to do with the movie, by the way.
No, she was not here.
Not that.
It would be awesome if she was.
This organization for the blind was not here. This Toxic Avenger met
this
the woman
Phantom of the Opera thing going.
Yeah.
And
then she just sets the place on fire.
with tanks of gasoline.
Yep.
They're just going to spray gasoline onto the place and set it on fire. And about then...
Because they're bad guys, and you know...
And then anyone who gets out, they just start mowing down with machine guns.
Yeah. Help, I'm burning! Look out! Are we outside yet? It's like...
It's just Troma.
Defending everybody.
Yeah, it's Troma style. They just go completely over the top.
So eliminate all ear witnesses.
Yeah, and that's a great thing. That's the funny thing about it is, like, they go so far over the top that you cannot take it seriously.
Oh, no.
You know? So it works that way, you know?
So Toxic Avenger, because his sense was tingling, apparently tips over one of the gasoline trucks onto the nefarious individuals, and
saves this one chick.
Saves this one blind chick with an accordion. And this is the best part of this whole comic. Splunches this guy in the face.
Yeah, splunch.
I like that one.
And then splunches.
Yeah, it's still caved in completely.
It's absolutely terrible.
Approved by the Comic Code Authority.
So it's love at first, feel your big massive muscles. With the girl, I forget her name.
I don't know if they even mentioned her
I don't
name.
know if they have it in this book.
Claire.
Okay.
It's Claire. So it's like the whole sort of thing. You don't know how hideous I am because you're blind. So we got like...
Well, the Thing did that, and also it was in the movie. Whatever.
Right. And so that's fine. And so we...
Yeah, so we have our first taste of something that was actually in the film.
Yeah.
Right. And we cut back to basically...
Now it's all flashback.
Yep.
Telling the actual origin story of the Toxic Avenger. Oh,
while he's telling the story,
he's building the love nest,
the shelter in the dump.
Yeah, it's basically a shanty.
Yeah, which was also in the movie. Yes. But he's telling the backstory where he was the pool boy at this elite health club who was kind of this nerdy little geek.
Well, you can't even call him a nerd or a geek. He's just horrible. Yeah, dweeb. There we go. Perfect.
We would use
dweeb, who was like basically someone who, for kids who were not around in the 80s and early 90s or not sentient enough to understand anything. A dweeb is basically like you get all the social awkwardness and inability to interact with people that you would normally associate with a nerd or a geek, but without any of the interests. So they have, like, completely conventional, normal interests, but cannot talk to anybody to save their life. That's this guy.
And they're awkward, and they look like, to quote John Mulaney, "It looks like I bought my body, and I'm trying to work it for the first time." Yeah. They're just kind of like, oh, balancing, what's that?
Yeah.
And whoops, I'm standing in a bucket of water and slapping people, and the pretty people at the health club decide to exact their revenge
for being a dweeb.
For being a dweeb. And so one girl lures him into wearing a pink tutu.
Oh, that gets me so hot.
And then sends him out to be a laughingstock, and then he gets like dumped into.
He runs away from them. Falls out the window into a truckload of open vats of just toxic waste.
Which did happen in the movie.
Which gets struck by lightning, and he turns into the Toxic Avenger.
I don't remember the lightning happening in the movie.
I don't either. I think it's just to make this more
exciting.
Right. So people don't go and try to cover themselves in toxic materials, because there has to be a bolt of lightning.
Yeah, you have something special, you know. But once again, it looks like Dragon Ball Z. I swear to God, whoever...
Yeah.
Because Dragon Ball Z was well underway.
Yeah, you're right there. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was well underway in Japan at this point. So.
Thrunched,
yes.
I kind of like Thrunched.
That's a good one.
I mean, I know it's kind of hard to make actual onomatopoeias sound like what they actually sound like, because boom isn't really...
No,
but it sounds funny.
Accurate.
It's just funny to watch. And look.
Right.
But yeah, this completely weird person is here now. And it has a group of thugs, apparently.
Yep, we're going to exact revenge for this crazy monster for foiling our plans.
And now that we've had the Toxic Avenger movie happen, and now on to completely unrelated stuff.
Yeah.
Right,
Except that it has Toxic Avenger in it.
So the story's all told. They're in this pretty decent looking place for being in a dump, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I would say, like, you ever make like a fort out in the middle of the woods?
Oh, it's totally a fort.
It's literally that, yeah.
It's a love nest.
But I love how
it's a sex fort.
Yeah, but I love the tank that comes in here from the villains has 666 written on the side.
Not subtle.
In friggin' neon so that you can read it in the dark.
Oh, this is like a Frank Miller thing, though, because my name is Don.
Oh, yes.
Remember that?
True. That's true.
Yeah.
So
I kind of like that. I like the neon 666.
Yeah.
So the tank kind of ruins everything.
Yeah.
But to be honest,
fails though. I don't know.
Well, how about we take a commercial break?
Let's do that,
and we'll be right back.
The Ninja Turtles have mutated again. Actually, a very good marketing here.
Oh yeah, the Teenage Mutant Turtles 2, the arcade game, the one that's actually sort of based off of something.
Yeah, that's the one on NES at that. I mean, granted, they don't really have it otherwise.
Right, this was the best.
And the Pizza Hut sponsored one. Because there were a bunch of signboards in the arcade game that were just kind of generic signs, were all replaced with Pizza Hut when you play the game on the NES.
Well, they're doing a lot of that stuff now with video games, like in-game marketing, particularly on Microsoft Live.
Oh, yeah, Microsoft. Well, duh, it's Microsoft. But on top of that, though, they had 2 brand new stages that were not in the arcade game because they knew that, the graphics don't compare. Like, the graphics on the original arcade game are actually pretty damn impressive for the early 90s arcade. They can't do that on NES, so it's like, here, 2 levels, 2 new bosses, awesome. But as a kid, though, my first thought was, so you made the game 20% harder. Fuck you!
So, what did we think about the cover? We talked
about the cover.
So what do we think about the whole comic? Succeeds, fail, meh?
I don't know, so I'm gonna have to by default say meh.
Yeah.
Just because if you're into Troma and you're into this kind of violent, crazy-ass humor, you'll love it, and you'll probably wonder why the hell this didn't continue. But if it's not your thing...
Actually, I think it did go for a couple issues.
Yeah, I'm sure it did. But I mean, to this day, is what I'm saying. Like, you're surprised that it didn't last 30 years. But... Well,
it keeps coming back just because Troma keeps throwing money at it.
Oh yeah, well they have so many sequels and shit. Yeah, so but
that's right. Troma just released, not just, but like last year released all of their movies from like the 90s and whatever and 80s onto YouTube.
Yeah.
Yep. So you can just watch this for free right now if you feel like it.
Oh yeah, totally.
I mean, don't stop watching this, but you know.
Yeah. Wait until we're done.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll say meh because if it's your thing, you'll love it. If it's not, you'll hate it.
Yeah, I think I give it a meh, too. Just for pretty much the same reasons. You know, I didn't totally fall in love with the comic, and also you know, if you like the Toxic Avenger movie, it's like, well, that's not exactly the movie.
That's the thing.
But it's less of a, I broke his mom. Now he's like a Egyptian god of some sort.
I was gonna say like a Buddhist monk in Japan, but no,
but
nowhere
anyway,
near enough rings. Go ahead.
But anyway, if you pick this up expecting an adaptation of the movie, it's not really an adaptation.
It's like 20%.
It's actually a boot of its own
universe, its own line. Its own. I also have to agree. It's just sort of meh because it's like, for one, this was like the first comic that I read actually, which made me feel really uncomfortable reading it. I mean, also the Toxic Avenger movie made me feel very uncomfortable watching it, but especially the part where we're not gonna.
No, we'll be here forever if we talk about the fucked up shit in that movie.
That is all for us and the Toxic Avenger #1 from Marvel Comics.